Good morning and welcome to the Cannon County Chamber Connection. And if I sound a little hoarse, it's because I worked at a horse show on Saturday night and I think it did something to my voice. But I brought backup. I've got Keith here with me, so if it goes all the way out, he can talk to you. I do want to welcome you to the show in July. And boy, I tell you what, this July took off with a bang, because there was so many things going on over the 4th of July holiday. And I do want to say that, of course, as always, this is brought to you by DTC Communications. And we do appreciate them for everything that they put into Cannon County, this being one of them, because it gives an opportunity to our businesses, our organizations, people that do things in Cannon County to have a voice and be heard. And we do appreciate that. And we're a little bit late with the show this month, but that's because everybody left town the day before the 4th, which was the day we tape. And I thought, okay, I can't get anybody because everybody's gone. Everybody but me. Well, they wouldn't have wanted to just hear me and you, Keith. I do want to thank Keith for coming in. He's my backup. And Keith and I have, we've
done a lot of stuff
together on the radio, and now he works for the Courier. So we're still doing things. He is also my DJ for the cruise-ins that we have, and he does a good job. And so if my voice goes, then he can take over. I may even let him read a little bit of this, I don't know. But we did want to thank everybody that took. I want to tell you, if you complained about not having anything to do over the 4th of July weekend, it's because you didn't leave the house, because there was something going on everywhere. They had the 4th of July fireworks show in Woodbury. It was a great show this year. Well, all of the years I've thought it's been really good, but this year it was really good. They also had another one in Gazaway, and I haven't gotten a full report on that, but I haven't gotten any complaints, so it must have went well. And they also had a barbecue dinner that went along with that. That community is small, but they stick together. They're kind of like Auburn Town. When they do something, the whole community jumps in there and does it with them. We also had we had fireworks on the 29th at the distillery, and they had a barbecue dinner, and I heard a lot of people went to that and were real pleased with that too. Also, the Fiddler's Jamboree in Smithville was going on, and they always draw a big crowd. That was the other thing that we had over the weekend that drew a huge crowd, and we just had enough rain to get everything wet. But we were talking about it, and Glenn, one of my guests, and his bride were the ones that do sell the tickets there, and they said that people scurried, but then after the rain was over, which it didn't last long, they came back in. And I told him we had a crowd over there under the dessert tent, so it was good for us, because we sold out of desserts by 10:30. I think the show lasted until about 2 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, and I can't believe there was that many people that stayed, because there were a lot of kids there. They had to be asleep. They had to at 2 o'clock. They were probably the only ones that were awake. But there was a big crowd that came to it. And we do appreciate that, because that is the biggest fundraiser the Lions Club has. And of course, all the money raised from that goes to Lions Club charities. And they work hard, and I think everybody in town shows up at that to help. There's Lions Club members I haven't seen in years that show up to work in the horse show, because a lot of them came over there.
Bring their families with them.
They do. We had three little kids. I thought it was so funny. Brenda Bogart helps me, in the dessert tent, and there was these two little boys and a little girl, and evidently their parents had given them $20 and said, when this is gone, it's gone, you know, you're not getting any more. So the oldest one out of the group, and he was probably 6 or 7, he was keeping track of what everybody was buying and how much it cost. Well, the little girl was ordering the more expensive items, and they would get in the biggest fight up there. Finally, Brenda Bogart, they went outside and came around to the fence and was wanting us to stick things through the fence so that little girl couldn't see what they were getting. We did that a couple of times, and then finally they got to picking on her. She was a hollering and carrying on, and Brenda turned around and she goes, now y'all quit aggravating her. She says, you're just aggravating her. And she says, I'm gonna bring my wooden spoon out there and take care of this problem. And they all said, yes, ma'am, and they went off. And I says, did you know those kids, Brenda? And she goes, no, but that works every time. But anyway, they thanked us when they left, and everybody, I think, or when we left, because when I ran out of desserts and ice cream and fried pies and everything, I thought, wow, I'm losing my voice too. I think I'm going to the house. And Brenda said, me too. We were not the perfect, probably, candidates to do that job, even though we do it every year. But I have feet problems, and she just had knee surgery. So, you know, they probably needed a little healthier people. We run out of steam in a hurry. But we made it till everything was gone, so we were happy with that. But like I say, there was so many things going on. We had a great weekend, and there had to be something in there that you would appreciate. So I was kind of proud of Cannon County for the 4th of July weekend. I do have guests today. Do you want to announce them, Keith, since I haven't let you say anything?
I've said a couple words. I don't know if the camera picked up on it, but Glenn and Pam Steakley are here from the Cannon County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition, and this is a new organization that has been established not only here in Cannon County, but several counties around the states of Tennessee has established their own prevention coalition, and this is to fight substance abuse, mainly opioid addictions and whatnot. Right, Glenn?
That's correct. It started out focusing on the opioid issue, and sort of snowballed. So now we're just hanging on, watching it grow, and hope that it'll take us with it.
You know,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
sorry. You know, Glenn, you gave us a statistic, and I believe it was at our last Lions Club meeting, about how many people just in Cannon County that had OD'd.
I did, and I believe that number was from April.
Oh, okay. But in any month, 12, right?
In the month of April, just in the city limits of Woodbury, there were 12 overdoses. Not in the county, but just in the city limits. 5 of those died and were brought back with Narcan. And that's what Narcan, it's an opioid reversal drug, and it's administered by the first responders, and it will bring them back. Otherwise, if they don't use it, they die.
Now, when we say opioids, what exactly are these? What drugs are we talking about?
OxyContin is the main one, and that came out in 1996 from Purdue Pharma, which really got the ball rolling, and there was a tremendous marketing effort to get those out. And we don't have time to go into all that, but Purdue Pharma was one of the manufacturers that used an aggressive marketing system to get it out to the doctors and to get it to the people. Opioids have been around for centuries. It's nothing new. But there are new methods in which to use it, and there are new formulas that are being created in labs by people that are not pharmacists that are being put on the streets. And one of those that is so deadly right today is fentanyl. Fentanyl is 1,000 times stronger than morphine, and they use it to cut the opioids and make it more potent. And sometimes you don't know how much has been put in there. Even the ones that make it don't know how much is put in there. And that's the reason, that's one of the reasons that we're having so many deaths right now.
Very addictive.
If you are on them for a period of time, you will become addicted. Now, some people become more addicted quicker than others, and that's because of your genes, your DNA. Not everyone is the same. Some people can take them once, twice. Some of them can even take them for 5 or 6 days. If they go past that, then you're subject to become addicted to them. But some people, all it takes is one, and they're addicted. What opioids do, the reason that they are so deadly is because they attach to brain receptors once you take them. And the brain receptors that have these opioids attached to them control the mind, the decision part of the brain. And you become addicted to them. And that is one of the reasons that they're so popular now by people on the, from the manufacturers, the distributors, and even from places on the black market like in China and other places. They know that you'll get addicted to them, and they don't care if they kill you, because there's always someone else that's going to become addicted.
A lot of times when you see these addictions like this, the opioid addictions, you know, they got started as people needing something for pain, whether it be an accident, an injury, or whatever. And just like you're talking about, you know, these drugs wrap around your brain. And 6 weeks normally is the time that it takes to recuperate from an injury, especially if you're an athlete or whatnot. And I've seen people, you know, that were just so hooked on these, no reason for it. You know, they were past their injury and whatnot, but the addiction part, when you see someone that is truly addicted, you just can't help but feel sorry for them, because they've got to get off of them themselves. They've got to make that decision, because you can't make that decision for them, because they're scrounging around calling anybody, like the black market, anybody they can find to get those drugs.
The brain is
brain's
telling you
them,
you're going to die if you don't take it.
The brain is telling them you're going to be hurt if you do not take this within. And I knew somebody that was taking them popping pills every like 10 minutes, and it was because the brain was telling her, "You've got back problems." No, you don't. You don't have any back problems. Your back's fine.
Yeah.
But your brain is telling you that, and if I do not have, it's kind of like a cigarette addiction. If I don't have that nicotine to fill that void, I'm going to go nuts. Yeah, and that's what happens.
But the reason that it's so addictive like that, and it's not their fault, is why we have to address the stigma associated with it, because people are afraid to admit they have a problem and they won't seek help.
Exactly.
These drugs today, I've said this before, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. There was drugs everywhere during that time. These are different drugs.
Yeah, they are.
These are not the drugs of what we used to call the street corner junkies back in the 60s and 70s.
Well, you had LSD, and, you know, that just gives you delusions of grandeur. And throw in a little something that's hallucinating.
That would wear off.
Yeah, it would. No, these drugs today are deadly. You know, you just, they're going to get you sooner or later. And, you know, that's just like meth. And I don't know if that's considered an opioid or not.
Well, it's not considered an opioid, but it has the same effects as an opioid.
Well, you can about look at someone and tell if that's their problem. That's how, what a toll it takes on you.
The very unfortunate part of this is that over 70% of those that struggle with opioid abuse today got their first pill through a prescription from the doctor.
Exactly.
They had a medical issue, Keith, back problems, and that's one of the main ones.
It is.
Or had a sports injury, or had a tooth extraction, and took a prescription from their doctor and walked out of that office with a death sentence.
And some of them even probably abused that prescription, not taking it like the doctor told them to.
Sure,
know,
absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
happens a
And
lot.
that was the plan by those who engineered
Right.
these opioids.
Well,
on
one of
today's
the
market.
other things that you have to watch too is the younger generation likes to go into the medicine cabinet, and anything that their mother and dad's taken or anybody, they don't even know half the time what it is.
I'm glad you mentioned that because a little less than 80% of those people aged 12 and older get their opioids from families and friends. And that's the way they get them. They go into the medicine cabinet. That's
Right.
one reason it's so important to know where your prescription drugs are
And how many you have.
and how many you have.
And what they are.
That's right. But what young people look at, they think, well, it's a prescription from the doctor, so it can't be real bad. It's got to help me some way. That's not necessarily the case. And one of our first events when we were established, I'd like to mention this. This coalition was established on April the 11th. And there was, Ms. Steakley and I worked on this for several months beforehand, and there was several things, particularly 4 things that we wanted to do once we were established. One of them was participate in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. And that was on the 27th of April, so that gives us 16 days to prepare for this and coordinate it. But we, because of the people in Cannon County who wanted to participate in this, allowed us to pull over 20 pounds of prescription drugs out of their houses and turn over to the DEA. That was 20 pounds of prescription drugs that could have been in hands of people that was going to abuse them. In conjunction with that, at that same event, we gave away personal prescription lock boxes to go in the home so you can lock your prescriptions up and know where they are and no one else can get into them.
You know what younger children need, well, they probably know more about it than I do, to tell you the truth. But what they have to consider is those prescriptions that they're taking pills out of aren't always for pain. They'll give you prescription medicine as a laxative, so you know, if you're selling the laxatives out there on the street, yeah, they're gonna get something from it, but not what you're expecting.
That'd be my luck. If I ever started and got addicted to something, it'd end up being I'd
I
buy a
don't know
laxative
that
from
they're
somebody on the
addictive,
street.
but I don't know that I'm addicted. They're addicted.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think they're
just saying-
addicted. Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I'm just saying that sometimes they take medicine,
but maybe that's what
they
they
don't
need.
realize what
Maybe they
it's
need to
for.
take a laxative to scare them away from doing drugs and stuff. You never know.
With withdrawal from opioids, you won't need laxative
No,
because
you
that is
won't.
one of the byproducts.
You're right.
of it. And that's called dope sick.
Yeah.
And if you're dope sick, if you're coming off, the brain is telling you, you're gonna keep doing this until you get some more opioid to put back in me.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm sure all of your viewers out there have seen on the national news the problems with opioids and how it affects people throughout the nation. But in 2017, there was over 70,000 overdose deaths in the nation from from opioids. And I'm sure they've heard locally in the state of Tennessee the deaths that we've had there, and that was just under 1,800 in 2017. But what they don't see is how many it affected in our county. And WBRY from November 6, 2018 reported there was 39 deaths in Cannon County. Our Courier, if you read the leading article on May the 21st, it stated that there was an overdose in Cannon County almost every day. These numbers are factual, but what a lot of people think is, well, they don't affect me, so I'm here to tell you, it does affect them.
It will affect somebody in your family if it don't affect you. You may not know that it's affecting them, but I'd say that every family has somewhere in it that it is affecting.
I would venture to say, Carolyn, that every family in Cannon County is affected by substance abuse, directly or indirectly. Everyone. And I know it does with your tax dollars, because that's one of the reasons that our county government has to grow, is because we have a law enforcement, both city and county, that we have to overstaff due to the excess calls. And then we have a judicial system that's overloaded. We have a jail that's overcrowded. We have a 911 center that increased calls, a rescue squad that has to go out. I mean, opioid abuse and the cost of it covers every aspect of our culture here in this county.
And there's not really any type of cure unless the people that are addicted to these step out and say, hey, I want to do this, and they stick to it.
Yeah.
I have seen people that have gone to, we say that what kind of treatment centers are there for people with opioid or drug addictions? Mm-hmm. There are places out in Houston, Texas that look better than the Taj Mahal. They got swimming pool and all kinds of good stuff, and I'm thinking, man, I wish I had that. Of course, I'm not addicted to anything, but these people go through those programs and they sit there and they go through the program and everything. They come out. A lot of times they come out better ahead, but it's the will of those people that are hooked.
You're absolutely right, but unfortunately, there's not enough of those, and those that are available are too expensive for most people to go to.
And they're far away. They're not in the area, and we don't have enough, and I don't think there's enough promotion. People saying, hey, look, you can go get this help, the resources.
No one wants to talk about it.
Exactly.
It's the stigma that Ms. Steekman is talking about.
Associated with it. The shame. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to be looked down on. So they don't know how to get help.
And their
without
families don't want to be
exposing
looked down on.
themselves.
But when they go,
Exactly.
I'm even saying when they go through the court process, there's not a whole lot of people that are sitting out there saying, hey, dude, you got a problem. We need to, you want to fix it? And once again, the stigma, yes, that may come into play, but then the world knows, or the area knows what they've done, so.
Well, I want to tell you another aspect of this is when some of these places do try to go in, how should I say this? No one wants them as a neighbor, so they have a difficult time. And some of them have been underhanded. We've had them right here in Cannon County that have started these things supposedly to help people with drugs and everything, and they've been very underhanded about it. But if you have legitimate ones, and we have some of those also, everybody goes, well, not in my neighborhood. So you've got
right.
that aspect of it that you have to deal with too. But it's kind of like, and for years I was a smoker. I started as a teenager because I thought it made me look cool. I was still smoking in my 40s, and it still didn't look cool. But anyway, when I did quit, I've learned one thing. If you cut down, if you're smoking one cigarette a day, you're still smoking. Throw the things away. I did it, and I enjoyed smoking. I don't mind telling you I did. But I put them down, and that was it. I haven't had one since. That was in 2005. And even though your lungs get better after you do this, because they are affected whether they tell you that or not, the longevity of however long you smoked will catch up with you in other ways, because it will cause you illnesses on down the road, even though you've quit. But now they have the Juul cigarettes, the vaping, which makes me laugh kind of, because you can be going down the road and good heavens, they'll roll down the window and there'll be enough vaping come out of that car. You think the car's on fire in there. That amazes me that you could, I guess they inhale that. I never did try those, but.
Isn't that where they've got like the different flavors, like
Yeah.
cola flavor and
Bubble gum.
I saw
Bubble gum,
one that
peppermint.
was like a flower, rose, and I'm thinking, really? Why don't you just roll up a rose, set it on fire, and smoke it? I mean, that's basically what you're doing.
And they put flavor in those, attracting young people
Young
who
people.
Exactly.
would not otherwise smoke.
Yeah,
Because now the biggest users of those are young people.
right.
And that's what they're targeting. Ms. Steakley has done quite a bit of study on that, so.
Yeah,
That's
that
one of-
is.
That's
Well,
one of our goals, is to educate the children that they're being lied to with these advertisements, and they need to see the truth, that it is very dangerous to them.
you know, everybody said, well, they didn't know that nicotine was addictive. Listen, I started when I was a teenager. I knew it was addictive when I started
They didn't ask you,
smoking.
did they?
No. And I thought, what do you mean they didn't know? I knew when I started it was addictive, but you just don't think you're going to get like that.
All you have to do is listen to a disclaimer on a Juul ad.
Yeah, they put the disclaimer first,
Yeah.
and then they have their very attractive ad.
Just listen to the disclaimer.
And you can't-
They will tell you.
And you can't read the fine print at the bottom of the
Right.
screen either, right?
That's right. But you mentioned recovery facilities in the county, and I used to think like that, and I'm not criticizing anyone's thinking, but consider this: if you have a recovery center, and you have a group of men and women, or men or women, I mean, most of them are gender specific. But if you have a group there that are asking for help and trying to get help, had you rather have those people in your community or someone who doesn't want any help and out here doing what they're doing now?
Yeah,
That's right.
because
Just consider that.
They don't consider that.
we sit
when
out
they
here
look
and
at
we
that.
judge those centers. Neighbors judge their centers, but some of those neighbors are doing the same thing that those centers are helping other people recover from.
The CDC sent out, I guess you recognize that this statistics that I mentioned, 2017,
Okay.
they're late because it's difficult to track all those. We may never know the cost that this is having on our society. But the CDC sent out a notice in early 2018 to let everyone know that the numbers that they had been giving us from their tracking were low. They were wrong. The reason for that is because it leads right back to the stigma, because in a lot of communities, if someone overdoses on it and their family is a well-known family, they will put down something else that caused maybe if they died. A lot of them die with a needle in their arm. Some of them don't. They get up and fall with the head. They put it as something else. And the numbers that we have been seeing over the years are low because of the stigma that the families are fighting that to don't put that down for my son or my daughter.
In
I'm-
2015, there were over 20 million Americans addicted to something, and only 10% received treatment. That's a lot of people.
I think I'm addicted to Diet Cokes.
I'm addicted
do,
to
I
Coke.
think
Yeah,
I am.
Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. Let's go that route.
You
instead,
are
yeah.
too, and you
Yeah,
shouldn't.
that's right. But hey, I'm not. I don't have that stigma. I proudly admit that, right? You know, I'm good.
You know, the thing about this is too, as bad as this is, I have seen a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know if it's big enough to take over this. But if you'll notice, I've been in a lot of doctor's offices recently. And in every one I've gone in, every clinic, every doctor's office, they have a sign on the wall that says, 3 days. That's as many as you're gonna get. They're not gonna give you a prescription for opioids for any longer than 3 days. Now then, I'm also saying sometimes there is pain that people don't realize what kind of pain you're in.
It
And
needs to be addressed.
and it does, and there needs to be some way to help these people because, you know, I think all of us have suffered some kind of pain at one time or another, but there's some people that suffer pain every single day. And it's not the pain that is in their head, it's the actual pain. And yes, Glenn, back injuries are the #1 culprit for that. And I do remember that when I had both of my heels broken, one of them I had to have surgery on. They gave me 3 or 4 different kinds, not at the same time. My trouble was I thought, okay, I have to make a choice. Would I rather be in pain or would I rather feel dizzy and like I'm going to throw up all the time? So I chose maybe a little bit of pain because I thought, isn't there something like Tylenol, extra strength or anything besides these? Because they just made you dizzy of course I couldn't get up and walk around. That's probably a good thing. But when you're laying on the couch with your head in a waste paper basket because every time you take one of those you feel like you're going to throw up, I thought, okay, I'd rather feel a little pain. So he would say, well, try this. And I thought, it's got to be better than the other one, and it wouldn't be. So finally, I just diagnosed myself, and I thought, okay, I'm going to take a couple of Tylenol. Whatever it does for me is what it does for me, but I didn't have that throw-up feeling or that dizziness. And I don't know how people, do you realize that people that take these opioids, I know a lot of them have that feeling of dizziness and everything. They drive. You know, they actually get in a vehicle. And I thought I couldn't drive at the time because I had casts on both legs, but I thought people drive taking these. I just can't believe it.
People work taking these. I know, you know, once you get this thing in your system, though, it's kind of like you're used to it. And that's why you get so addicted
never
and why
did
you
get
want
used to
more. You know, I knew of it, like I said, I've known some people. One person had a prescription of, I'm wanting to say 200 hydrocodones in 1 month. This person took those hydrocodones for a month supply, took them within 3 days, popping them like they were M&Ms. Then went out on the street and bought at $10 a piece another 120. And, you know, she had resources and people that were caring enough for her to say, hey, you need to slow down. But you know what? She didn't listen, didn't care because, hey, she didn't slow down. She went to work every day. You know, she did her daily thing, but she was so addicted that it didn't matter.
Know it.
Yeah.
They didn't know it. What happens on that is they are looking, they're chasing that first high that they got. Even though they'll never achieve it, they're chasing that first high that they got on that opioid. And as resistance wears down, you have to take more
Right.
and more and more
Yeah.
and more. That is the reason, that's the very reason that when you hear of several people overdosing from a miscalculated group of pills, you have addicts that go there. The reason they go there is because those pills are more potent than what they can get where they are.
Right.
And they are risking death to buy those pills, so they'll get that first high.
And these
And that's when
manufacturers
they
see
overdose
that,
and they die.
and these manufacturers see that and say, well, what do we got to do? Let's go to that next step. Let's put
Increase.
something into it. Let's put something more into it. Let's add. It's just a never-ending process.
Fentanyl today, and which is a filler for a lot of opioids, is very, very dangerous. As a matter of fact, you can overdose by touching it. That is the reason
That's true.
that law enforcement and first responders wear gloves when they go into these places, because it's not uncommon to overdose just by touching it.
Well, I gotta tell you, I must have been taking the wrong kind of drugs, because I never did get that high that I wanted
do
to
you
chase
know?
and get it
Oh, okay.
again.
I was
So
gonna ask her, how'd you know?
I must have not been taking the right thing, I don't know, but
You
Well, we're
have
glad you didn't.
a meeting once a month. Tell us a little bit about the meeting, the next one that's coming up.
coalition.
Okay, we have monthly meetings, and by the way, we are governed by a board of directors. We are recognized by the state, and we have monthly meetings, and our meetings are on the second Thursday of each month at 11 o'clock at the Woodbury Lions Club building. And they'll only last for one hour. We know everyone has other things that they need to do. But in these meetings, we discuss different things. In our last meeting, we discussed the counter-drug task force came in and showed the attendees how we were going to attack these problems in Cannon County. What we're going to pursue has nothing to do with other counties or other states. We're taking data from Cannon County, and we're seeing where we need to go to help improve Cannon County. Our next meeting, which will be on the 11th, which will be tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we'll have Narcan training. This is free training. And we had this at our first meeting, and it was so popular, and we've asked for, could you please bring it back? Please bring it back. So we're bringing it back tomorrow. And the regional overdose specialist is coming in to train. Each attendee will be trained, receive a certificate, and be given a 2-pack of Narcan to take home with them in the event that some of their family members or someone that they know overdoses. They can actually bring the back from that. So this is something that we wanted to do. This is one of the 4 things that we wanted to do when we were established, and we actually did that in our first meeting, and now we're having another one. This will be our 3rd meeting, gotcha. And but if anyone interested in helping build a healthier, safer, drug-free community, get involved in this.
And how do you get involved?
We have a Facebook page. You can get it on the Facebook page. It's Cannon County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition. You can contact us by email, and that is cannoncoalition@gmail.com. Or you can call us at 615-542-8443. Or you can come to one of our meetings.
Yep.
This has been so well received by those who know that we have a coalition. There's many people that don't know we have one. That's one of the reasons we're trying to get the word out. But we've been so well received by those who know that we have a coalition that we've had calls. Well, it was almost every day for a while, and then now it's maybe once or twice a week. But what we're trying to do is get the word out that there is hope now. There is help, and this coalition belongs to Cannon County. This is not a government department. This is a community level organization of citizens, law enforcement, teachers, faith leaders, businesses that have come together as a group to attack this problem that we have in our county.
And I'm on that committee.
She is, and we're happy to have her.
I haven't done anything, but I'm on the committee.
I'll be there Thursday at the next meeting.
All right. Ms. Stickley, what did you have to talk to us about?
Well, the stigma was the main thing, but
Oh,
one of the
okay.
things we do want to focus on is education and educating about the stigma, but also just the facts of Jules and how it's affecting our schools. We would like to get some kind of program going that we can address the kids.
I agree with that, because right now it's a fad with them. But I really think deep down that's as addictive
It is.
as the cigarettes.
It's
That
very
can't be
unhealthy.
good for you.
No, no.
It can't
they
be.
They don't even know how bad it is, the long-term effects of Jules.
You know, it's just cool, I guess.
So
I got
we think-
over that, though.
We think education is the answer.
Well, it is to some degree, but you know, a lot of it, yeah, I remember way back when they used to give us in school, when I was in high school, they would run these films and it would show a lung that was eat up from smoking and everything, you know. Well, there was a lot of really, I gag at a lot of things. Well, there were some that did more than gag because that's how explicit they were. But you know what? It didn't soak in evidently.
Now you
'Cause
can
you
watch
still
that kind of thing on the Learning Channel every day.
Well, now you can, but back then they didn't have a learning channel. You
While
went to
while Ms.
school.
Stickley and I were making this decision to pursue this, we said, well, what are we going to do? We can't arrest the drug dealers, and we can't treat those that are already addicted. What are we going to do? We're going to work on prevention. That's what we're targeting. is
Well, that's where
prevention.
you have to start, but you know, Glenn, what you're also gonna have is doctors. The pharmaceutical companies are gonna do whatever they're gonna do because I don't think anybody has a control over them. I don't, and I
They
don't
don't.
think they're going to.
They don't.
But the doctors can control what they
What they
prescribe.
prescribe, that's right. And for a long period of time, the doctors didn't even know. We went to a training session several months ago. There was a doctor there that said while he was getting his education to be a doctor, there were no classes on how to prescribe the medication out there. Is that what he said?
Exactly.
Well, that's why I worked in a
Zero.
pharmacy for 23 years.
The pharmacists know more than the doctors
They
about
do.
prescribing.
They do. That's what I was going to say. Your pharmacist can tell you what's in those drugs and what you can take together and what you shouldn't. And so, yeah, your pharmacist. I'm not selling the doctor short. I'm not.
No.
But I'm just
No,
saying,
we have good
they're the
doctors.
ones that are in control of what they prescribe.
You always want to have a good relationship with your doctor and have a good relationship with your pharmacist,
Yeah.
because they can keep you much healthier than they can individually.
Well, now a pharmacist, if he's worth his salt, and Richie Hunter was, because he was the pharmacist then, Richie could tell you about drugs. He still can today. I don't think he works full-time anymore, but most of your
Richie-
pharmacists, if they're good, they can tell you.
Richie Hunter was at our first event, our National Drug Take Back event.
Yeah.
He was there the entire time and supported us on this. And for that, Richie, I'm thankful. I appreciate you.
Anything else you want to say in closing? You've got 2 minutes.
Okay. The only thing that I want to say is that if anyone out there wants to help build a safer, healthier community that's drug-free, join this coalition. Join it. It doesn't cost anything. Just support it. It does affect you, whoever you are. It affects you if you live in this county. And what we're trying to do is trying to bring a discussion to the table. There are so many families out there that are suffering from this. And I know because I'm one of the families that is suffering from someone that you loved overdosing from opioids. And they did not start on their own. But if you're a family member or if you know of someone, I want to tell you there is help. There is hope now because we're pulling together in this county and we have a lot of good people that have already signed on to this. and a lot of the community leaders who have signed on to this. And we can do much more together than we can separately. But we're on Facebook, Cannon County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition, or you can email us at cannoncoalition@gmail.com, or call us at 842-535-5443. And we want to let everyone know that you don't have to fight this alone. There are several groups, support groups in this county that do a great job of supporting substance abuse families and those that are suffering with substance abuse. This coalition will give them an extra voice, a louder voice, and we want to enhance what they do. They do a great job, and we're going to do that from resources from the state and federal government that we were not able to do before. Now we can do this, and we want people to contact us, and we want to help our community. But this coalition belongs to Cannon County.
And it's not a bad thing. I mean, if it's not going to hurt you, if you're dealing with these issues, sometimes it helps if you do have somewhere to turn. And, you know, a lot of people have to take pain medicine, so if someone in your family is addicted and really they shouldn't be having any pain, it's time to get them help, because sooner or later it's going to affect them in the worst possible way.
We're small. We're growing. We're muddling along right now. But,
Well, you've only had 3 meetings, Glenn.
That's it. That's it. But we're new, but we're headed in the right direction, and we have a lot of encouragement from the community.
And you've
You
got
do.
a lot of key people. I've seen, Cannon County Health Department being one of them. You got a teen council now. They're talking
Stones River
about this.
Hospital.
Right. So you got a lot of good community support with the
School system.
organizations that are helping with this.
Yes, we are. We're very blessed to have that. Ms.
Okay.
Hickey, anything?
Anything from you?
Just thinking about people who need help, reach out. You won't be judged. We got to address the stigma.
No,
to help
that's
them where
kind
they
of
are.
anymore. We shouldn't even have to talk about that. I mean, I know that there's still that thing, if you trying to put in a facility for this, that people are a little standoffish, but you're going to have something.
Addiction is
know,
a disease.
it
was
is.
classified as a disease by the American Medical Association in 1956. But we haven't, as a culture, accepted that yet. It's an illness that can be treated.
Exactly.
It can be treated.
Yeah.
So seek treatment.
You're going to feel better if you're one of those that's taking these when you get off of them. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that, but you really are. It's going to take you a while, but you are going to feel better. Okay, what do you want to say, and then I'll do what I want.
What if I want to say a bunch of stuff that's going to take
Just-
16 minutes?
Well, then I'll
Okay,
talk
now,
about what
there we
I'm
go.
going to talk
See,
about.
I knew that'd get her going. Oh, 10 minutes. Okay, we got 10 minutes.
All right,
I can go pretty quick. I can rattle my stuff off.
you
with
got, you got,
Well, let's go with yours first. You go first, because you've got some important stuff. I
I'm
see
going to
here.
hurt him before this show is over.
She says that every time we get together.
Yeah, I do.
Don't take your pain medication if you hurt.
Yeah, I'll be on opioids and we'll
Make
be
him,
beginning the
cause him to
process. Yeah.
take something. All right, events, Art Center, always something going on at the Art Center. I love the Art Center. July 12th through the 27th is We Will Rock You, and that is based on songs by Queen. If you're a Queen fan, they have a lot of good performers in this show, and you will enjoy it. Show times are 7:30 on Fridays and Saturdays, and 2 matinees on July 14th and the 21st, which are at 2 o'clock. Now, this is July 12th through the 27th. August 16th through the 31st, Mamma Mia will take center stage with great actors and talented performers in this. I have to tell you, there is a group at the Art Center that work there every day. They answer your questions, they do every kind of job you could think of, and they are so talented. And you will have these performers in both of these shows. 2 of them I know for sure will be in them, and they are so talented. That will be on the 16th through the 31st. And then, of course, they work on this just about year-round. September 14th and 15th, the Art Center will celebrate 30 years of fine arts and crafts with their White Oak Craft Fair. And that attracts visitors from out of the county and out of the state. I know, I'm there every year and I meet them, and it's amazing. But this is a juried craft show, so you have to be accepted with whatever your craft is. And yeah, they do a great job with that too, because these are artisans that show in this, and there's a number of them. But if you want any information or to book tickets or anything, you can call the Art Center at 615-563-2787. And they'll be glad to reserve a spot for you at the shows or explain the White Oaks to you, because they're already accepting artists for that show. They have to. Senior Center trips. Our Senior Centers people are world travelers anymore. This always amazes me. September 3rd through the 11th, and this will be in 2020. They're going to take an Alaska cruise, so you can call and see how to sign up for that. November 7th through the 16th in 2020, they're going to go to Portugal. November 6th through the 13th in 2019 is their London and Paris trip. And October 23rd through November 2nd, 2019 is the Australia cruise. That's a one I probably wouldn't mind going on, except I don't want to get off the boat, because they have 9 of the most poisonous snakes in the world in Australia. So
I don't have a snake story today,
I'm
Carolyn.
safe. Good.
Good.
Okay. If you need some more information about this, call 615-563-5304, and they'll be glad to answer any questions. We have a senior center that I would be proud to put up against any senior center in Tennessee. I really would, because they're very active. Okay, July 27th, Cruise In on the Square, hosted by the Chamber and sponsored by DTC Communications, is from 4 to 7. All cars and trucks are welcome. The June Cruiser of the Month Award was sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, and it went to a man named Sonny Grimmett, and he was driving a 1949 Oldsmobile, which I loved. It had flames on it.
What was the color of that Oldsmobile?
Oh, it was, well.
What did he call it?
It was what did
Dr.
he?
Pepper. It was Dr. Pepper color. Remember?
No.
Yeah, he called it Dr. Pepper color. I'm thinking, I've never
know
heard of that
it was
before.
kind of brown,
I
but
looked
I
for one in
liked
a
it.
crayon box. I couldn't find one.
Caramel color.
So it wasn't one of the 64
Yeah,
crayons, I can
that's
tell you that much.
That's a good example. Caramel color, you could have.
There you go.
Okay, the July award will be sponsored by the Moonlight Drive-In. And the way that if they sponsor a plaque for Driver of the Month, they get to pick the car they want. So that's how that goes. July 27th, you're invited to attend a grand opening at the Canon Arts Dance Studio at 211 West Main Street in Woodbury from 11 to 2. The ribbon cutting will be at 11, and you will get to enjoy free dance lessons, door prizes, light refreshments, and you need to RSVP Miss California, who owns that, is a partner in that dance studio, 615-785-9763, or call me at the chamber and I'll make sure she gets it. July 28th is an event that I've been so proud of for the last several years. And of course it's just for Cannon County children, but it's the distribution date for We Care Cannon. And that's where kids will receive all the supplies they need to start school. As long as they're a student in Cannon County, they can come out there from 2 to 5 p.m. at the Woodbury Grammar School.
And health screening.
Oh, yeah, they do check your eyes. The Lions Club does that.
Haircuts.
They give haircuts, they give T-shirts, they give
Socks.
socks,
Yeah.
underwear, shoes. And that's besides all of the supplies that you need. And just a couple of reminders, the farmer's market is open every Saturday from 7 till 12 or until they run out, and the Woodbury Pool is open.
Most of you know that I am sports oriented, so I've got a couple sports announcements I need to make because I told some people, hey, I'll talk about it on TV today. Cannon County Lions football is going to be selling their cards that they normally sell as their fundraiser, $20, starting on July the 15th. And how you go about getting one of those cards, they've got a new website that they put together. It's a nice one, www.lions-football.com, or you can see any of the other football players or coaches and you get your card. Once again, that's going to start July the 15th. The fishing team, Cannon County has a fishing team now. They're still looking for sponsors. If you would like to sponsor, you get your name of your business or if you want your organization on a banner and on the team jersey that they're going to be wearing in the various fishing meets that they do. Now, they're going to be holding a meeting July the 18th at 6:30 at First Bank here in Woodbury down on Main Street. So if you'd like more information, feel free to call Jeremy Gunner. He is the team coach. His number is 615-849-5286. And, you know, usually I try to bring up some wild stories when me and Carolyn are doing our show, you know. And coming up August the 31st, now this isn't happening in Woodbury, but it is happening in Murfreesboro. It is National Bacon Day. Did you know that?
No.
Oh, yeah. There is a thing called National Bacon Day. On August the 31st, down at McKnight Park, which is a sports com, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., they're going to have the National Bacon Day Festival. There is going to be a mechanical hog ride. So, Carolyn, can we get you on that?
You want me to bring my own pig or what?
No, they're going to bring it. They're going to bring one for you. It's free admission, too, by the way, if anybody wants to go, August 31st.
Awesome.
And one other thing before we close out of here, we want to wish William Freddie Curtis, our director of schools,
Oh, I do.
a complete recovery. He is, yesterday he got released from his rehab stint, and now he's at home, not at his house, but in another place. They're getting taken care of him. Next up is cardiac rehabilitation for him. So he's on his
We wish
way
him the
back.
best.
Oh, I do. Freddie's a good guy.
And for those of you that don't know who that is, once again, Cannon County Director of Schools, who suffered a heart attack a couple of weeks ago.
At a budget
And-
meeting.
Yeah, right after a budget. I had to leave a budget meeting. And that's good enough to, you know, I'm lucky I haven't suffered a heart attack after some of that stuff. But
Well, me too. I've had moments.
so we got our Bacon Day Festival thing out of the way. Go
All
get
right.
your football cards, go fish, you know, put your banner. We're good.
Okay. Well, I guess we're done for the day then. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And we will see you again next month, I hope. Because, you know, whether you want to or not, if you watch this, you're going to learn something. It may not be of any use to you, but you're going to learn something.
I learned
But
about Bacon Day.
We do
Yeah.
appreciate you watching us today, and I want to thank our guests, Glenn and Pam Steakley, because the thing they're involved in right now affects us all. And we thank you for watching.